If you've been to 30A before, chances are you've heard about the community of Watercolor. If you've never been to 30A, Watercolor definitely needs to be on your radar. It's one of the most family-friendly communities, one of the best neighborhoods for overall appreciation, and one of the most stable neighborhoods right now in the rental market. Watercolor has changed from a town center and a small phase of single-family homes to a full ecosystem with the town center, multiple parks and amenities. We have 5 phases overall in Watercolor. So my goal with this video is we're gonna break down the entire community, how it was developed over time, and exactly what phase has the right value propositions for you and your family. Let's jump right in.
So the way I like to framework not only just my videos, but my searches for prospective buyers and clients, so I want to start off by saying why Watercolor and what can Watercolor do for me that another community can't? Because I think that's the most important thing about real estate. What can a house do for me that this other one can't? What can this community do that another one can't? And I think that's the best place to start for this video. Watercolor comprises of 499 acres with nearly half devoted to common area or preserve, so unimpacted, and is broken down into 5 phases, each with unique amenities and value propositions that I hope to cover and break down in this video for you. I think that what Watercolor did so well as a community is that they created a culture and a lifestyle that every buyer on 38 can resonate with. This stands out to me as one of the most, if not the most, family-oriented community on 38. I don't know if I can say the same thing about Alice Beach or Rosemary Beach, for example. Now, Alice Beach is wonderful, and Rosemary Beach is wonderful as well, has its own great amenities, but Watercolor caters to the majority of the demand segment that is coming down to the beaches of 30A. The Watercolor community is so desirable due to its exceptional community amenities. Guests will have inclusive access to the Gulffront Watercolor Beach Club and the new Camp Watercolor facilities that was built in 2019, in addition to 7 other beautiful swimming pools located throughout the entire community. Watercolor now boasts the most pool access along Highway 38 as well. The Watercolor Beach Club features a huge main pool and lounge area, an adult-only pool, additional pool deck with even more lounge seating, and a third pool area with 0 entry, which is perfect for even their littlest kids. It also has a dining service available and a sunset bar called Costa Chica. All of these amenities have beautiful views of the Gulf, and one thing that stands out to me about Watercolor, and one point that I want to make here, is that it's a prime example of the community's focus on amenities. Watercolor could have divided the land into Gulffront homes for more money, but placed priorities on all homeowners to enjoy this beautiful location that sits directly Gulffront. So when we talk about the amenities, we have to also talk about how you can access the amenities. As a Watercolor homeowner, the maximum number of wristbands you can request is equal to the occupancy of your home. It's calculated at 2 wristbands per the design review board approved bedroom plus 4. So again, if you have a 4-bedroom home, you have 2 wristbands per bedroom. So in this case, it'd be 8 plus 4. So your max occupancy that you'll have in terms of wristbands is 12. A homeowner can bring up to 2 guests into these amenities with their wristband. Another amazing feature about Watercolor is the Watercolor Trolley is a free service for homeowners and rental guests. The trolley operates daily in season, so that's about April until Labor Day weekend. The Watercolor Trolley operates on a route-based system, so that means it circulates to all Watercolor neighborhoods, community pools, Camp Watercolor, and of course the Beach Club. All right, so as we break down this phase, it's always important to talk about how everything developed over time. So we're gonna start with phase 1. Watercolor Phase 1 is the southernmost section of the community that's located near the beach access, the town center, the boathouse, Western Lake, and more. If you've been to Watercolor before, the easiest way to kind of describe this is that this initial phase of Watercolors runs from the inn and the beach club all the way down to the tennis courts. It's best known because it has a beach cottage feel that started out in the early 2000s. Learning from the way that Seaside built out their residential phase and how these homes are front-loaded and felt tight, Watercolor went a different path and started offering rear-loaded lots to take traffic off the main streets. Homes in Watercolor Phase 1 were designed to take full advantage of both the beachfront location and additional properties overlooking Western Lake. Real estate in Watercolor Phase 1 includes both commercial and residential. You have upscale single-family homes and condos. It's important to note that all the condos in Watercolor are located in this section of the community. This location also boasts the tennis center, beach club, Watercolor Inn, the town center, the bike barn, boathouse, and several parks, including Marina Park with an amphitheater. I truly believe that residents of Watercolor Phase 1 are in the hub of this vibrant seaside community, and what I find most unique about this phase is that it wraps around the 80-acre community of Seaside, which I always like to note is the downtown of 30A. Moving further into the community, we'll come to the Camp District, also known as Phase 2. The Camp District of Watercolor is centrally located in the community and includes popular Camp Watercolor and various parks and large green spaces. When I think of Phase 2 in the early stages of development of the overall community, I believe as people became more familiar with watercolor and consumers realized they don't necessarily have to be that close to the beach as Phase 1, These homes became the next hotspot when Watercolor was originally selling on-site sales. Especially became a no-brainer to have a home here in Phase 2 when the community introduced Camp Watercolor, which opened in 2019. Camp Watercolor is geared towards kids for the most part and has this main butterfly pool with a monarch slide for older kids, the caterpillar pool, which is 0 entry plus a children area for a skipper slide for small children, the lazy lizard pool, which again is 0 entry and has a lazy river. You have lifeguards on duty, you have the canteen, restaurant, and bar, basketball courts, playing fields, and a playground. When we talk about rental properties in Watercolor, a lot of people like Phase 2. Phase 2, you can hop on the tram, go down to the beach. You don't have to be so close to everything going on in that town center. But also, you can walk out your front door and walk straight to Camp Watercolor. It's a great place for kids to come and hang out. And ultimately, if you want to spend a whole day as a family, you have food, you have amenities. There's so much to do right here in Phase 2. As you explore further north into this coastal community, you'll find yourself in the popular Lake District, often referred to as Phase 3. The lots became bigger and allowed for more design selections than the previous 2 phases. The Watercolor Lake District boasts some of the most luxurious homes and prestigious locations in all of Watercolor, including home sites that border Western Lake. I would say this is one of the most coveted sections of the community due to the overall seclusion, and this phase features larger home sites, so many of the homes that you see here will be grand to take full advantage of the buildable areas. There are also several parks, docks, and walking trails in this area, including the pedestrian bridge crossing over to Phase 1 into all the beach amenities. Every time I show Phase 3, I like to mention that you get to separate yourself from a lot of the new development happening across 30A, as Watercolor is bordered by a 250-acre coastal dune lake called Western Lake. You have Grayton State Park and Point Washington State Park in the already established community of Seaside. When you look at Phase 3, there is a privacy and serenity found in these homes. Houses on the west side are directly overlooking the lake, and on the northern and eastern borders, you overlook green space with nothing but wooded views. Moving on to Phase 4, Watercolor's 4th phase is located in the Crossings District across Highway 395 near the Watercolor Crossings Shopping Center. The Crossings District, often referred to as simply Phase 4, is a mixture of cottage homes and luxury beach residences that back up to state forests. In my opinion, this is going to be the best phase for entry-level homes into the Watercolor community. You may think that Phase 4 is a little too far away, being across 395, separating the phase from the rest of the community. But once you're in the community, you'll realize that the beach club, Camp Watercolor, and the rest of the amenities are still a quick bike ride or golf cart ride away, not only for you and family members, but of course renters as well. Convenient access to the Dragonfly Park with a pool and being walking distance to the Watercolor Publix. Homes located in this phase are ideal for anyone who wants a quick access to all the Watercolor community amenities, but also prefers a little more privacy than what is possible in some of the other Watercolor districts at this price point. Moving on to Phase 5, the final phase of the home site development in the Watercolor community is a neighborhood called the Park District. With 41 custom homes, it's unique that it has a focus on primary living and true second home ownership. You won't have to worry about renters' wear and tear that you may find in these other different phases. Homes in the Park District will be restricted from short-term rentals, and homeowners will have access to a private pool. Now, of course, residents will also get to enjoy all of the existing Watercolor community amenities as well. Even saying the phrase lots in Watercolor is extraordinary considering we haven't seen opportunities to invest like this before. For those looking for a brand new construction, never lived in, with access to some of the best amenities for a resort community on 30A, this is an amazing opportunity. These homes are designed with primary and secondary homeownership in mind, so you'll notice the focus on outdoor living spaces, attached living spaces, or bedrooms over the garage, compared to the detached carriage houses that is popular in the other 4 phases. If you want an entirely custom home in Watercolor to not only enjoy all the community's amenities, but everything that our area has to offer, then you could have access by buying a lot and connecting with a builder. I have a few builders who would love to talk with you if this is an avenue you're interested in pursuing. That's a whole other process when talking about Watercolor, but this has to be one of the most timely and new developments happening in Watercolor from an investing standpoint, and I think it may create a tremendous opportunity not only for you and your family, but resale value down the road.
I've had the privilege of helping many out-of-state owners through video exactly like this find their ideal property in Watercolor. So I hope this video was extremely helpful for you in your consideration when looking at the overall communities across 30A. If you have any questions or if you'd like a private tour going through all the different amenities or these different phases, and of course any real estate listings, make sure you use the information below, get in touch with me, and I can't wait to see you at the beach soon.